Welcome to this Saturday's Travel History Tip. Today we're going to talk about state capitals, and the two state capitals that I have picked out for this Saturday is the capital of Arizona and the capital of California. But before we start, I want to give you a little tip that you may not know. How do you know the difference between the Capitol with an A and the Capitol with an O? Well, the capital with an A is the town, the city, the location. The capital with an O is referring to the building and the building complex grounds, the actual structures. Most of the text today comes from my Western edition, Off and On the Beaten Path, the Unclassic Road Trip series. Fort Whipple served as the temporary territorial capital until replaced by a new founded Prescott. Many people say Prescott, Arizona, but it's pronounced Prescott, like biscuit, in 1864. Then in 1866, the territorial capital was moved to Tucson. While serving as Arizona's territorial governor in 1878, John C. Fremont lived in Tucson. The Sosa Carrillo Fremont House stands beside the convention center. Once again, in 1877, Prescott took charge of state government, where today 500 structures are listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Finally, Phoenix became the territorial capital in 1889 and the state capital when Arizona entered the Union in 1912. Now we move to Phoenix. Phoenix is the state's largest city. Completed in 1900, the original capital served as the territorial capital until statehood. The new Capitol complex was constructed in 1960 for the House and Senate buildings. The addition of the Executive Tower transpired in 1974. The original copper-domed Capitol section became the Arizona Capitol Museum in 1981, and it is legally still the state capitol. A delightful gentleman gave us a guided tour of the select items on display, many from the USS Arizona, which was sunk at Pearl Harbor during World War II. The displays inside the Capitol are magnificent. I encourage everyone to go and visit their state capitol and visit the museums. At the Arizona Capitol, they do focus a lot on the USS Arizona. The Arizona State Grounds are absolutely magnificent. One of the vessel's anchors and signal masts are displayed on the Capitol grounds. Sunk at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii during World War II, the USS Arizona was one of the 3 ships named in the state's honor. Take time to appreciate the many war-related monuments presented on the Capitol grounds. I just had to touch that anchor. In August of 2017, a rash of demonstrations plagued the nation as people began defacing historical memorials. We happened to be in Phoenix during a President Donald Trump rally, and when the Confederate memorial on the Capitol grounds was defaced early one morning. The circumstances surrounding the Phoenix event were very suspicious. The next day, when we went there, we were happy to see that the memorial had been cleaned with no trace of damage. We took several pictures by various memorials as I held a handmade sign that read, "Conserve History." We really are living in historical times, and I would encourage everyone to go to their state capitol, even this weekend or over the next few days, and just be a part of history. Now moving on to California. While under Spanish and Mexican rule, Monterrey served as Alta California's capital. Alta meaning upper, Baja meaning lower. California has 2 parts, Alta, which is the California that's part of the United States, and Baja California, which is part of Mexico. In 1849, under American jurisdiction, residents held the first elections and constitutional convention in Monterrey and decided that San Jose should serve as the capital after statehood. San Jose was the first pueblo, which means city, founded by Spaniards in 1777. Soon, state leaders moved the capital to Vallejo in 1852 and then to Benicia in 1853. The Benicia State Capitol State Historic Park grounds are as interesting as the capital's interior. Like almost everything in California, the grounds are just as magnificent with beautiful, beautiful vegetation, fruit trees, nut trees. I can't go on enough. And then here is a picture of the state capitol located in Sacramento. And when we were there, it was actually during a drought time. Located in the northern section of the Central Valley, Sacramento became the capital in 1854. It is the oldest incorporated city in the state, having done so in 1850. Both the first transcontinental railroad and the Pony Express terminated in Sacramento. The city primarily grew from the discovery of gold in the region, constructed between 1860 and 1874. The neoclassical capitol sports a 210-foot high dome with a gold gold-leafed orbital finale. Once the Capitol was completed, the city became the permanent capital. Can you understand and grasp the amount of history that is just packed into that one paragraph? This Capitol is gorgeous. It is reminiscent of the U.S. Capitol. It is listed in the National Register of Historic Places, is a California historical landmark, and is within a National Historic Landmark District with palm tree-lined streets. Found on the second floor, the Senate chamber is decorated in red tones, identifying with the British House of Lords, accented with pink walls and gilded Corinthian columns. One of the most interesting items in that chamber is a portrait of George Washington that was painted by Jane Stewart. She was the granddaughter of Gilbert Stuart, who painted the traditional image of George Washington found on the $1 bill. On the opposite end of the second floor lies the Assembly Chamber, decorated in fabulous shades of green, based on the British House of Commons. Every square foot of the Capitol is gorgeous. Guarding the entrance to the governor's office is a golden, life-sized bear with an especially shiny nose because passers-by rub his nose for good luck. Ronald Reagan was the last governor to live permanently in Sacramento. Once he left, the at that time new governor's mansion remained vacant for almost 4 decades and then finally sold. While in Sacramento, spend an hour at the historic Old City Cemetery to see the graves of famous individuals, including Sacramento's founder, John Sutter Jr., who was originally buried in sunny Acapulco, Mexico. We always enjoy walking through cemeteries because they are just so filled with history, and we try to find the graves of famous people. This, like anything else in California outdoors, is fabulously filled with gorgeous plants. I wanted to make a special note here. We have someone that we know extremely well that went to Sacramento yesterday, May 1st, with a lot of other citizens. I want to encourage you to investigate that and a lot of the events that are going around, because we are living American history now. And we need to be a part of, because American history, we need to learn it, we need to love it, we need to appreciate it, and become a part of it. And one way you can do this is by getting one of our t-shirts. It's our Psalm 33:12 t-shirt series, and it's Psalm 33:12 reads, "Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord." We need to make this statement in these days that this country needs to follow God, and we would appreciate if you could help support this ministry and get America great again with these motivational t-shirts. And you can use them as a conversation piece and a great witnessing tool, especially if you go to one of your state capitals or any, city or government building and visit the other people that are standing around. We want to thank those of you who have sent us an offering. As you know, we have now been off the road for 8 weeks. An evangelist that's not on the road, you know what that means. So we certainly appreciate those of you who can consider supporting us and maybe supporting us on a monthly basis. We are putting out a lot of content. Steve is doing creation series on Sundays at 2 o'clock live on Facebook, and then at 7 o'clock on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central, he is doing a Walk in Faith lesson. We are trying to put out nuggets several weekdays, 5 to 10 minute nuggets on creation and walk in faith, in addition to this Saturday travel history tip. So we certainly appreciate those of you who are enjoying and getting information and liking our content to help support us. We thank you very much. God bless.